Now, it may sound like the stuff of science fiction, but a paralysed man from Arizona has had a microchip implanted in his brain that allows him to control a computer with his thoughts. Nolan Arbor was injured in a diving accident, but now, after years of being totally dependent on others, Nolan says his life is transformed.
Welcome back, everyone. We've all seen movies like The Matrix, which show characters who can blur the line between man and machine. In our current reality, some are on the same journey, putting technology inside of their bodies with microchips. But how high are the risks, and what are the rewards? And what could this mean for our collective future?
In an instant, Nolan's life changed and the most basic tasks were not doable.
You just have sort of no control, no privacy, and it's hard. And you just have to learn that you have to rely on other people for everything.
But 8 years on, Nolan became the first person to get this brain device from Neuralink, a US neurotechnology firm whose founder is Elon Musk.
I just imagined the sensation or what it might look like to wiggle my fingers, something along those lines, and I could get the cursor to move. Now I could actually control my computer with just my thoughts.
A handful of other companies have also developed and implanted similar chips. So how do these brain chips work?
The device is sitting in the motor region of the brain. It's picking up when someone's thinking about like tapping their fingers. It can create what we call a digital motor output. And that's what's being used with a computer directly to click on things.
Back in Arizona, Nolan hopes his brain power means a fulfilling future.
When you guys come together every year, what is the big wish list item that you all hope to one day make?
The thing everyone wants is Neuralink. It's frustrating because it's out there, but we don't know how it's built. So if Elon was willing to open source all of his stuff like we do, that'd be great. It works on the premise that your brain's electrical signals can interface with a computer's electrical signals. That is the dream. That is the Johnny Mnemonic, everyone's favorite movie in biohacking.
Upload begins when you press here.
Or uploading information like in The Matrix.
Cozy. I know Kung Fu.
There's definitely potential.
In real life transhuman hacker himself, Len No joins us. Len.
Thank you for having me.
I've got a quick question to just kick things off. Why?
Well, that is that's usually the big question. It actually started with the concept of why not? Okay. So, to be honest, this was more of a progression. You don't live a pretty normal, vanilla life and then just wake up one morning and say, wow, today's the day I'm going to start shoving microchips in my arms.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more of a progression. I started with tattoos, got into standard body modifications, piercings.
Standard
augmentation.
I've got a tattoo. Does that mean I'm going to get chipped up?
Well, that depends. You know, if you're fortunate enough to get it, you never know.
Oh my! What can you run us through your setup? Is that the right?
What are the specs?
Yeah, what implants do you have?
I'm one of the few people that actually comes with my own hardware list. So this would actually be the largest one.
Whoa. That looks like a Jats cracker. Is that right?
It does. What is it?
This is an NFC and RFID implant. So this allows me to actually interface to the same technologies on your cell phones that you use to tap to pay with. I can also use it to get into physical restrictions like your badging system in this beautiful building. I could skim one of your cards, write it down to one of my implants, and just walk up and open the door.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
But when you say that, right, so if you skim the card, then how are you entering that
I need an additional tool, but most of the time I can get away with just...
When you say additional tool, you mean a computer?
No, most of the time I mean my cell phone. I can actually program these on the fly.
Really? Sorry, so what you're saying is you can walk into a secure building, like, say, this one, and just find your way in.
Yep.
With your cell phone and your
I wouldn't bring the cell phone with me.
You just do that just by
I would skim the card. Like, hypothetically, you know, you have amazing staff here that are just lovely people, you know, but I've watched them sit there and badge in. If I was able to skim one of those cards, I would leave this building, write it down to one of the implants, leave all of my cell phones, all my electronics outside, and I would basically walk into your building.
Okay.
If I was caught, The fact that these are inside my body actually gives me protection under medical privacy laws to the point where the authorities can't even ask me about them.
Oh, we need to change those laws. Okay, but hang on. Okay, right. All right, okay. I get this. I get you saying you're using it for good.
Yes, sir.
What I don't get is why any human should be allowed to have that capability.
Well, the ability for self-experimentation, it goes all the way back to Isaac Newton. So a lot of the greatest medical benefits that we've actually have in the modern age were originally started by people experimenting on themselves.
But I do believe that we are very early in that science. We are still learning about how the brain works in general. So the idea that a brain-computer interface, something that you would implant into the brain, can reveal these benefits, I think it would be really difficult because there's so much that we don't know.
When it comes to Neuralink, though, at the grassroots level, the level where the grinders are, there's a lot of concern about putting something inside the brain that will be collecting information directly from your body in such an intimate way, that technology being owned and operated by some kind of external entity is a source of profound concern.
I feel like the first people that can afford implants are going to be the millionaires. And a lot of the reason why the grinders do what they do is so that the technology can be for everyone.
Grinding and biohacking is so invested in the DIY model because it puts the technology and the information in the hands of the makers to share their vision of the future.
I genuinely believe that a lot of what's going on here helps trans people, disabled people, elderly people in the rest of the world, because we're thinking about, okay, what is it like when your body isn't working the way it's supposed to?
I'm trying to do blood glucose using vibrations with a small passive implant. This is the bleeding edge. People taking their own autonomy into their hands and moving biomedical science and engineering forward.
This is the place where you can show up and have some wacky idea and someone will go, no, actually, we can make that real and we're going to do it now.
What do you say to those people who might think this is insane?
To someone who thinks it's insane, I would probably say, just come hang out with us for a bit. I bet you any money by the end of the weekend you're going to leave with a microchip.
Again, back to the first, but why?
Well, if you go into some high security areas in governments and organizations, they will actually tell you that you have to leave your electronics in a locker before you go in. I would be able to then walk through restricted locations with technology that are actually actively pinging out for other network devices, potentially trying to auto-attack devices that it finds.
You're Batman.
Yeah.
Closer to Cyborg.
Okay, well,
both in the DC universe, I'll take it.
I don't know whether I'm scared, impressed, both.
But you're intriguing, yes.
But if I may answer your question from before, to protect yourself against this, most of the attacks against mobile devices can be solved by simply turning off that NFC. The problem is, as a society, we push towards the use of contactless payments, trying to use our cell phones. But that is the same technology that I can take advantage of. So to
cash.
Cash. Len has a book coming out called Human Hacked, My Life and Lessons. As the world's first augmented ethical hacker, would you please, thank Len No.
Thank you guys very much.